season with Notre Dame, but she has been incredible for this team, such an emotional leader. But Coach Ivey, she wants her team to, come together and be resilient and get past this and just continue to push through the ACC conference.
We will see how they respond tonight against the Seminoles. This is Latson, ran into the double team, knocked away by Miles. That's funny because they practiced that very play at the shoot-around today, right off the tip, and it was Latson who got the drive, but she was cut off, and they have a second chance.
Well, that was good defense by Miles, and that's the type of team defense that Notre Dame's going to have to play tonight. So far this season, especially in ACC play, they've been holding their opponents to under 60 points a game, and that usually turns into wins for them. So let's see if they can do that tonight.
Michaela Timpson, who is the leading rebounder for Florida State, opens the scoring. The sophomore with the bucket at the other end of the floor, and Notre Dame in the home white. Shot clock is down to 8 for Miles. They try to work it inside, and they get the basket. Now Ebo getting her first start of the season tonight. 33 in white for the Irish. Great way to start.
It's a great way to start. Already a big time, the leading rebounder for this team, but putting her into the starting lineup just gives you another weapon, a post presence down low.
Yeah, Ebo averages almost 7 rebounds per game, and that's 11th in the ACC and leads this Fighting Irish team. Keep your eyes on Miles. Lightning quick. Always knows where her teammates are on the floor. As Fallon mentioned, she leads the ACC in assists this season with 7.2 per game, and again, deep into the shot clock. That one knocked away. Citron got it back and was fouled in the act of shooting.
And that was a good move by Citron to draw the foul.
The foul was against Aaron Howard. Let's take a look at our Toyota starting lineups, and we'll begin with Notre Dame. Visit your local Toyota dealer today. Told you about Miles. Citron's at the free throw line. Maddie Westbeld, interior player. And Ebo getting her first start of the season in the absence of Dara Mabry. Opening moments of our first quarter, and here is the Florida State starting lineup, brought to you by Toyota. Visit your local Toyota dealer today. Latson leads the way. Massengill Bajetti has been outstanding over her last 5 games. She's been incredible. We'll document her story as the night goes on.
Yeah, Bajetti is a player that Coach Ivey said that she's looking out for. She's on this team's radar. They've seen how well she's been playing the last 5 games.
The tie-up in the arrow, and that will favor the Irish.
Right here, you can see this move by Latson. Timpson gets tied up with Westbell, and jump ball goes in Notre Dame's favor.
So the Irish start the night 7th in the nation, 16-2 overall. They are 7-1 in ACC play. That only loss was in early January at North Carolina, 60-50. And they are 8-1 on their home floor. Again, they take the shot clock inside of 10.
They do. Trying to figure out this defense.
Great pass inside by Miles. Clean-up work, and Notre Dame's got the basket.
Great job by Bransford to stay with it after the miss. Gets her own rebound and is able to finish.
KK Bransford, the freshman from Cincinnati, Ohio.
Right now, it seems like Notre Dame's playing this boxing one against Latson. They want somebody else to beat them. They don't want Latson to have the ball in her hand, and I think that's a good decision by Coach Ivey.
Bajetti hit the deck on the drive. Ball out of bounds to the Noles. Timpson trying to work it inside against the double team, right into Westbell.
Yeah, that's a great double team. Westbell comes over and helps Ebo defensively, and they end up with the steal.
Ebo on the entry, backing her way down. Fed it back to Citron, and she got fouled again. Going back to the free throw line, trying to shake off the after effects of the contact.
But we just see right here, you see Timpson in the paint, goes right into the double team. Westbell gets a hand on it and gets the steal. And then on this last play, nice cutting play by Citron, and she's able to draw the foul, going back to the free throw line for 2 shots.
Sonia Citron, the sophomore, 11th in the conference in scoring, almost 14 points per game.
It seems like since conference play has started, she was a little quiet on the scoring end, but after that game against UVA on Sunday, she had a big game with 20 points and 9 rebounds. So let's see if she continues the trend this evening.
Both of those numbers were game highs, and she made 6 3-pointers on 7 attempts against the Cavaliers.
She can score the basketball.
Citron, the leading 3-point threat behind Mabry, out with the season-ending knee injury. Timpson has it spin out, and Westbeld starts the break after the board. Miles, fancy dribbling.
Yeah, she pulled it back out. You know, she wanted to do something with it, but decides to reset.
Miles had 12 points and 4 rebounds, 7 assists as well in the win against Virginia. She can shoot it 52% from the floor overall. Missed that one. Ebo in and out. Howard was able to chase it down in the corner. Here comes Latson. Howard hesitation. Difficult shot, and she hit it.
That's a good move. You know Howard can shoot that 3, but Notre Dame was able to run her off that 3-point line, and she makes the good decision to take it in the paint and score.
Erin Howard is a redshirt senior from Madison, Wisconsin. Westbeld on the cut and traveled back to Florida State. Time for our keys to the game tonight. Brought to you by your local Ford dealer with Fallon Stokes.
And yeah, for Notre Dame tonight is, you know, they need to know their defensive rotations. That's what Coach Ivey said. They've been playing lights out defense the last few games, especially in conference play, and rebound the basketball. Florida State, great rebounding team, and so is Notre Dame. But for FSU, they need to push the basketball and attack. They have the highest scoring offense in the ACC this season. They can score the basketball. That's their bread and butter. They need to put the pressure on Notre Dame on the offensive end.
Hell ball situation favors the Noles. And you mentioned it, Fallon, 85.8 points per game for Florida State. That's best in the conference. Right behind them, number 2 is Notre Dame. Brooke Wyckoff, longtime assistant and player at Florida State under the legend Sue Semrau, and now the head coach of this program. Interim coach a couple of years ago as well. She'll be pleased with that combination. Howard to Latson.
Oh, that was nice. Nice pass, nice cut by Latson to get herself involved. Notre Dame's been keeping her out of the offensive sets. But on that last play, she was able to get open.
First points for Latson. My guess is they won't be her last tonight. She's now 1 of 3 from the floor. That bounces out for the Irish. Valencia Myers had the rebound. Trying to race it up the court with the Jetty.
Jetty is lightning quick, and she'll put on those jets, speed up the court. You have to defend or guard her early in the backcourt, but she was able to get that fast break and draw the foul. Now at the free throw line for 2 shots.
Valenzuela in the lineup for Florida State. Sarah Bajetti, the senior from Helsinki, Finland. 78% on the season. Despite that miss, that is 8th best in the ACC. And Fallon, how about her last 5 games? She's averaging over 21 points per game in her last 5.
Well, I know that Coach Wyckoff is not upset about that. When you have a player, especially a senior, step up, with this young team being led by a freshman in Latson, Timpson just being a sophomore, you need some of your upperclassmen to step up, and Bajetti's been doing that in the right time during conference play.
Hassan Prosper into the game for Notre Dame, the freshman from Montreal, Quebec, Canada, as Westbeld misfires. Latson, 0-0, wants to run. 4:45 to go here in our first quarter. Prosper recovered defensively to knock that one out of bounds.
She did. That was a great block. Great defensive rotation by Notre Dame to get the block shot.
Able to catch up with O'Brien on the defensive end.
You see this move right here. Nice cut, but a nice finish by Latson. And then on the other end, it's a no-no.
The Detroit Pistons as well in the NBA. Yeah. 2 national championships, 1 in 2018. We showed you that picture of Coach Ivey playing against Sue Bird for UConn. That was in the
awesome.
semifinals in 01. And then they went on to beat Purdue in the national championship game 68-66. Their record that year was 34-2, and that included the semifinal victory against UConn, 90-75 in St. Louis.
They had a great team, and Coach Ivy was the leader, the starting point guard for that squad. So I know that was a great battle between her and Sue Bird, a future Hall of Famer.
Florida State with a three-pointer. Of course, you can't mention national championships without mentioning Muffet McGraw, the Naismith Hall of Famer here at Notre Dame. 936 career victories for Coach McGraw.
She was amazing. She set the standard, and they're just continuing it. Coach Ivy's continuing that standard since her retirement.
Up to number 7 in the nation. This on the shot, Prosper. This is Bajetti, able to regather and set it up with 3:40 or so to go here in our quarter. O'Brien, and that one may have hit the baseline without hitting the rim, and so it is Irish basketball. Florida State will shoot threes now.
They'll let it fly.
Oh my goodness. You take a look at the numbers in the ACC, and it's not even close as far as attempts and makes. And Florida State, by the way, in their most recent game was a win against Pittsburgh at home. Florida State took 34 three-pointers to set a school record. They didn't make all of them, but they did attempt 34, and that's the most in school history.
They did, and I think it's just trying to open up that lane for the likes of Timpson and other players they have trying to get down low, especially Latson. If they can start hitting threes, it's going to open up that lane.
Valenzuela able to grab it. The Noles are working on an 8-0 run right now and lead at 10-7.
Yeah, Notre Dame, they've been struggling trying to figure out something offensively. And you have to applaud FSU early in this game. They've played solid defense.
This is Bajetti with the shot clock inside of 10. O'Brien needs to look at that shot clock. Will they get it away? Valenzuela unable to get it away in time. Shot clock violation against the Noles.
Yeah, and that's a no-no. Bajetti, and you have 2 point guards in the game right now, and O'Brien as well. And for them to miss that, you have to be alert to see what's going on with that shot clock. Great defensive set by Notre Dame.
Bransford and Prosper, and then Westbeld collapsing. And Florida State did not get a shot away. This Notre Dame team averages almost 80 points per game, as we told you, second best behind Florida State, scoring in the ACC. They turn it over. Latson trying to run it down. Long rebound, Prosper.
With some long shots. Florida State's continuing to let it fly. A turnover by Miles. She couldn't make that catch. Not a great pass to her.
How about Notre Dame at just 20% shooting so far after shooting 50% at home in the win Sunday against Virginia. So Miles is out. And Coach Wyckoff's team has the ball back.
They do, and they're trying to see if they can get something going in the half court. Notre Dame right now looking like they're in a zone, but really trying to keep the basketball out of Latson's hands. They've done a pretty good job of that so far.
Brooke Wyckoff, an All-American in her playing days in Tallahassee. That one bounced out for Timpson.
But it was a great move. She's so athletic, making that move in the post and can get up. In the warm-ups, I think I was saying she had a nice finger roll. It looked like she almost could dunk it.
We'll see if that happens as the game progresses. We're late in the first quarter, so glad that you're with us. 7 games tonight on the slate of the ACC. Bransford trying to follow the miss. Knocked around, and that will be Florida State basketball, according to Mark Berger, who was on top of the call. Angelica Suffren and Ryan Durham also part of our officiating crew this evening here in Notre Dame, Indiana. Purcell Pavilion inside the Joyce Center. And about a minute and a half to go in our first quarter. Not super high scoring, but fast-paced and competitive, and that one through the hands of Timpson. Couldn't connect there with Gordon.
Yeah, they're talking about it. Gordon, a great or solid backup point guard for this FSU team to come in, especially when Bajetti or Latson, they need a break.
So both teams in this first quarter with 4 turnovers. Attempted 3. A miss from Brown, and now Gordon trying to get around her defender too strong. Timpson with a follow, and she gets it to fall.
Hey, when you have somebody running down the lane like Timpson, that's why you always have to follow and miss. Great shot or great job by Timpson to follow it and get the putback.
Timpson is the second leading scorer for Florida State, just over 13 points per game, and their leading rebounder with 9 per game, 4th from the ACC.
We talked about it. I think she's the engine that makes this team go. With her athleticism, she's able to rebound, defend, block shots. 6 blocks in her last 2 games, or 12 blocks total in her last 2.
Westbeld missing from 3-point distance. That's now 10 in a row. Misses for the Irish from the floor.
And that's unheard of. Coach Ivy trying to get Miles back into the game. She needs her point guard to try and get something going, but this quarter's about to wind down.
We've only seen 1 made 3-pointer by the teams combined, and that was by Florida State, and we still have 1 made. Citron heaves it from half court, and it'll come up short. So 12-7, Seminoles on the road, where they have never won before. They are 0-4 here at Notre Dame, but they've got the first quarter lead, holding Notre Dame to just 15% from the floor. And Florida State closing that quarter on a 10-0 run. 12-7, the Noles on the road at Notre Dame. Florida State was just 1 of 7 on 3-point tries.
Right, and neither one of these teams shooting the ball particularly well to start this game. Notre Dame in that first quarter, 15% from the field, and held to 7 points in a quarter. So you don't ever want to finish a quarter in single digits. So look at Notre Dame, nice block. Timpson, get that out of here, leading it to Lassie for the lay-in.
Wow, what a play by the Noles. And you mentioned it, Timpson, 6 blocks in each of her last 2 games.
She's a difference maker. She plays great defense, great anticipation, and sees the floor very well on the defensive end.
4 points now for Latson. Timpson knocked that one away. Bransford couldn't hit the short jumper. Now Bichetti just weaving her way, challenging Citron. Contact was made and a foul coming up against the Irish. Citron.
And that's exactly what FSU has to do. We're going to see on this last play. Miles taking it in, and Timpson said, no, not on my watch. Nice lead to Latson by Stu, former high school teammate, with the finish. And then on the other end, you just see a part of the keys. Florida State pushing and attacking, trying to score, draw fouls, get to the free throw line, and that's exactly what Bichetti did on that last possession.
Bichetti converting from the free throw line. Her teammate Michaela Timpson now 55 blocks for the season, and she leads the conference. Almost 2.5 blocks per game for Michaela Timpson. She's the best shooter in the conference at 62%. Block shots, one of the top rebounders. Just a fantastic player for the Seminoles.
All around. She'll fill up the box score.
Bichetti trying to do that very thing. Taking away Miles. Looking to the wing. Citron for 3. Bounces out. Westbeld preserving the possession.
Great hustle by Westbeld to get that offensive board. Set up another offensive set for Notre Dame to see if they can get a score. Florida State really shifting with this man-to-man defense.
Foul on the drive. It was Bransford. Notre Dame now 0 for 5 on 3-pointers. A couple of free throws coming up for Bransford.
You see Bransford makes a nice play, goes right at Timpson, draws the foul. That's what Notre Dame has to do. They have to attack. And I know Coach Ivy, she likes to see their defense turn into offense for this team. We haven't seen it early with deflections, trying to get steals. But that's what really gets Notre Dame going. And then when Miles can get in the open court and make decisions, they are lights out.
72% from the line for Bransford. Ebo got the second miss. Bounces ahead to Bichetti. Does not have the numerical advantage.
She almost lost it. You don't want to take a spin when you're that deep against 2 defenders.
Howard missed on the 3-point attempt. Back the other way. And the foul goes against Notre Dame.
I think they said Miles pushed off when she went between the legs trying to penetrate. You see it right here. She has Bichetti and pushes off with that arm, extends it. Trying to free herself up for the layup. Easy call for the ref to make.
So that is the second personal foul on Olivia Miles. Miles has not scored in this game. 0 for 2 from the floor. That one knocked around and taken by Citron. Westbell, great catch and move to the rim. All in one motion, and the flow for Westbell to the goal.
I mean, this team is athletic, but the defense, the steal, it turned into offense for Notre Dame. Exactly what Coach Ivey likes to see.
Irish had gone about 10 minutes without a field goal before the Westbell basket. It was a 14-0 run by Florida State. Jenna Brown against Bajetti, calling out the signals. Shot clock down to 5 or so. Westbell, tough shot, weak side. Bransford, basket and foul to the line. KK Bransford.
And that's a big time offensive rebound and putback by the freshman. Perfect positioning, and this crowd erupted. Offside rebound, she's right there with the box out. Nice head fake and goes up strong. Finishes the bucket. You see her getting excited, trying to give some momentum to her teammates to get something going offensively.
So Myers picked up the foul for Florida State, her first. Old school three-point play. KK Bransford averages about 8 points per game, and she's got 5 after that free throw. Prosper comes back in. Bransford to the bench for a breather.
You see Notre Dame really getting down in a defensive stance, trying to make it difficult, force Florida State into a tough shot, just like the one Bajetti just took.
Bajetti about 5 feet behind the line, launching one and missing everything.
And that's not the type of three I'm sure Coach Wyckoff wants to see from her team. They need to figure something out and try and get something in their offensive sets.
They are now just 1 of 10 on three-point tries in the first half. Watson couldn't get it up on the rim, and now Latson. Score the basket. Latson all the way to the rim for 2.
And so unassuming, she can shift and change gears or speed so easily. You see her driving the ball up the court. She eyes Brown and then just puts on the jets and lets it go. She was able to finish at the rim, get the and one. This freshman can just straight out hoop and play the game. And that's how she's been playing it this freshman campaign, just playing basketball.
And she finishes off the old school three-point play as an 87% free throw shooter and 3rd in the ACC. Tanaya Latson, the freshman from Miami, Florida, also lived in Atlanta and played high school ball in Atlanta.
Yeah, they had a great squad, won a national championship while she was at Westlake High School.
Fight for that errant shot, and the arrow is going to favor Florida State. Valencia Myers in that tie-up. How about Valencia Myers playing her 135th game at Florida State? She's only 3 away from the school record.
Hey, and they needed her on that last possession. She just saved the possession for her team. But she's been a strong presence for this Florida State team during her time here. And she's been consistent. She just plays in games. She's ready.
Myers also has 4 rebounds in the game. That takes her over 700 for her career at Florida State. Latson hanging and missing. Myers grabbing Ford, and a foul goes against the Knowles. And that is going to be Myers on the foul. Second on Myers. She'll come out of the game for Brooke Wyckoff.
And Timpson comes right back in.
It's a pretty good 1-2 punch on the inside for Florida State.
That is. You can give Timpson a quick break and have Myers in and not really miss a beat. But Timpson athletically in the paint. You can't buy what she does.
Great catch from Westbell. Timpson deflected that shot. The attempt on the inside by Watson, and Timpson was there. Whistle before Howard can shoot the 3. And Timpson wants some answers, and she's not getting them from the officials. All she's getting is assessed a personal foul, her second.
Right, the ref looked at her and said, "It's on you." She didn't know what she did exactly. Thought she was establishing post position against Ebo, but gets called for the foul.
So again, the second on Timpson. About 5.5 minutes to go in our second quarter. We're glad that you're with us for ACC Women's Basketball. Tom Wormy, Fallon Stokes, poked away Timpson. Latson put on the brakes. Timpson trying to fill the lane. It spins off, but free throws upcoming for Timpson.
And Timpson's so athletic. She has great positioning for Ebo. Goes around her instead of staying behind. Gets the steal and gets it right to Latson and runs the court and gets gifted with the pass. Draws the foul. Couldn't finish it, but it just shows her athletic ability to be able to get up and down the floor as a post player after she gets the steal and can defend in the paint.
Even though she's the leading scorer in the ACC, Latson will get her teammates involved. And that includes Timpson at the free throw line. Prosper. Timpson came over to help defensively on the baseline.
She's everywhere. If you need help, I wouldn't mind having her playing behind me if I was a guard.
And Florida State saves it. Valenzuela on the baseline. Three-point miss out of that corner from Massengill. So the struggles continue. 1 of 11 on threes for Florida State. They maintain the 8-point lead.
Ooh, tough shot by Citron. Trying to get it up there in a fight for the rebound. Florida State wins it.
The 2 players ended up on the deck. And then a collision. Looked like Timpson was in front of Gordon and she ran into her.
Right, ran right into her teammate. I guess she didn't see her there.
Prosper, 3-ball, Massengill. And she wants to slow it down, and rightly so.
That's a good decision. Both of these teams really moving too fast on the offensive end, taking some bad shots, and they're not falling, but a smart decision by Gordon to set something up.
And Maria Gordon has an alleyway to the rim.
And she is quick, lightning quick. What an asset for Coach Wyckoff to have coming off of her bench in Gordon.
Gordon might be 5'4", but she is fearless, and that's quite a backcourt with Tanaya Latson as well.
And you see this right here. This nice block by Timpson to start the fast break, giving the easy lay-in for Latson for the score.
For Florida State, they come in with that record of 7-2 in ACC play. Win against NC State, which was number 11 at the time, 91-72.
A convincing win. That was a big win for them.
That's Ebo inside.
She's so strong, and she can clear out the paint when she makes her move, and that was just a showing of that on that last possession.
Notre Dame now right around 40% shooting so far in the game. Myers trying to get that shot over Ebo, and it spun around the rim and bounced out.
That was good, solid defense by Ebo, just to stand straight up and force Myers into a tough shot she couldn't knock down, and see if Notre Dame can get something going on the offensive end. They've been quiet.
Miles hits the jumper. First points of the game from Miles.
Just when I said it's been quiet, we know the person that's going to make some noise, and it's Olivia Miles. She just made it with that nice jump shot.
Latson misses. Bransford runs it down. 1 on 3. Doesn't stop her, and she'll earn free throws. So just a second ago, it was a 10-point lead, largest of the game from Florida State. Now upcoming free throws for Bransford for Notre Dame.
Yeah, you see it right here. Notre Dame's defense, Bransford's able to get out and run. Can't finish this time around, but is able to draw the foul. And that's the type of momentum that Notre Dame has to get going. Their defense turns into offense for them, and anytime they get deflections or steals, it turns into something good for this team.
Just inside of 3 minutes to go in the second quarter. Notre Dame had just 7 points in that first quarter and trailed 12-7 after 1. Since the timeout, Notre Dame, a 6-0 run.
In this league, you can't go too many quarters scoring single digits. It'll hurt you if you're trying to get a win on the road, at home. But you have to be able to score the basketball. And we know both of these teams can do it, being 2 of the top teams in the league in scoring offense.
They are 1 and 2 in scoring offense. Florida State And then Notre Dame right behind them. We will see points tonight. Latson on the drive. That bounced out. Myers batted it, but right to Citron. Bransford keeps it alive, takes it to the teeth of the defense, and scores. And she's got 9.
Yeah, Bransford is playing for the home crowd tonight. The energy level has her going. Nice athletic move and finish by the freshman.
The lead is just 2 after the 3-point miss by Bichetti.
And it seems like Notre Dame's getting it going. Miles has the ball in her hand, and a nice dish and finish by Citron.
Tied at 22, and a timeout, Florida State.
I mean, this team is exciting to watch, and we just saw it with Olivia Miles. She is the player for Notre Dame.
Tied at 22.
Well, that happened quick. Notre Dame turned the ties. They were down 10, and we were like, what are they going to do offensively? It was looking dire, and Olivia Miles and this team just figured something out, and they've been able to get some points on the board.
That 10-point lead was the largest of the first half for Florida State, which led by 5 after the first quarter. We are tied at 22. We are still tied. Myers tried to grab it on the baseline. That'll be Irish basketball, and that's another miss on a 3-point try by Florida State. Now 1 of 13 on threes.
Saying she was being Notre Dame's ball. She didn't like that. But has momentum, trying to close out this first half.
How about that pass from Miles to Citron? It was just hanging on the rim precariously.
And she saw it. I mean, we can see it from the sideline what Miles is ready to do. Citron ran that baseline. It was a great pass. She just couldn't finish it, but
it's an alley-oop play.
I know. You can see that athleticism. Citron coming for the baseline and just overshoots it a bit on the opposite side of the rim, but that would have been pretty. Miles was ready. That would have been a top 10 play.
So Westbeld picked up the foul from Notre Dame to put Myers at the free throw line. Coach Ivy's team battling back in this second quarter, struggling in the first quarter.
But this team's resilient. We talked about it, losing their leader in Mabry a game ago, and they were able, in the first minute she went down, and still secure another victory in the ACC. So they're just trying to continue to ride this wave to see how they can move through this conference. But it's going to take time. She was a starter in this lineup, and they have to make the adjustments.
And Mabry was the leading 3-point shooter, but also provided such leadership. Westbeld late in the shot clock, and that one will go to Florida State. 46.3 seconds on the game clock here in the second quarter. Notre Dame and Florida State struggling from the floor. Knowles 26%, Notre Dame 24% overall.
Well, both of these teams, they can score the basketball, but they are stingy defensively. Notre Dame holding their opponent under 60 points a game, and Florida State a little over 60.
Straight away, another 3-point miss for Florida State. This time it was Aaron Howard who's made the most threes of any player for Florida State this season.
This is going to probably be the last play of the half if Notre Dame can try and capitalize and get a score.
Irish last lead was 7-6. Final seconds. Bransford on the spin, and she traveled. According to Angelica Suffren, the 7th turnover of the first half for Notre Dame.
But I like it. Bransford's been playing well for Notre Dame. She's been the consistent scorer in this first half, and she was trying to make something happen. Get a score to end the half.
That one hit the rim.
Nice shot by Gordon.
Yeah, Gordon trying to beat the horn. So right now, just a 1-point lead for Florida State after the first half, Fallon.
Well, we saw this comeback. Florida State, both of these teams have to figure it out offensively and try and work their offensive sets and schemes in the second half.
The Noles have a slim 1-point lead. They are 15-1 this season with the halftime lead, but this is close thanks to the comeback in the second quarter by Notre Dame. Latson leading the way with 7 points. Bransford with 9 for the Irish. Halftime straight ahead from Purcell Pavilion. Northeast team had won 4 in a row, including a win against Virginia on its home floor on Sunday. Florida State and Tanaya Latson, the freshman and leading scorer in the ACC, had won 3 of their last 4. And again, Dara Mabry, the knee injury in the very early stages of that game against Virginia, out for the season. And their teammates trying to pick up that slack, and it's Westbeld out of the corner. Angular rebound to Miles as we crank up the second half.
Yeah, we talk about how great of a rebounder Miles is. We haven't seen too many tonight, but she was able to get an easy one off of that miss.
Another three-point try, and it's Westbeld. Massengill held her ground out of bounds, and that is off of Florida State.
And right now, Florida State doesn't look like they're moving too much to start the second half, allowing Notre Dame to get 2 easy offensive boards to start the second half.
You can see that Florida State really cranks it up in the second half in ACC play as Ebo hits the mid-range.
And that's a good shot for Ebo. That's wide open around that free throw line if Notre Dame can exploit it. But you talked about it, FSU averaging around 46 points per game in the second half. So they're lights out. They know how to close ball games.
Well, Notre Dame, after the Ebo jumper, has taken its first lead of the night since leading 7-6 in the first quarter, now 24-23. Deep into the shot clock, Bajetti needs to shoot it, falls down, taken away by Miles, and that is a shot clock violation, Irish basketball.
And that's the second shot clock violation for Notre Dame tonight. That can't happen with Bajetti having the ball in her hand, but a great defensive showing by Notre Dame to get a turnover.
So Irish with the ball and the lead. 8 turnovers in the game now for Florida State. Bajetti defending Miles.
Florida State in this man-to-man. That lane may look a little more open than it did in the first half.
Miles stop and start. Ebo is open. Knocked away Massengill. And then Timpson and Citron fighting for the ball. And that is Knowles basketball.
That was a great job by Citron to get in there. Timpson gets the rebound but brings it down. And like I said with that lane, a great pass by Miles. Ebo just couldn't clean it up. And then you see Citron and Timpson fighting for it. But Florida State gets the possession.
Timpson traveling on the move by Howard. Howard just 2 points in the first half for Florida State.
See Bajetti trying to work Miles. Miles really pushing it.
Miles finding another gear. Ebo follow off the Miles miss.
And sometimes you have to push it like that, especially when you have rebounders in the paint. Good decision by Miles.
8 points now, Lauren Ebo. At the other end, Timpson power dribble. Not high enough on the square.
And that was good defense by Ebo. She stood strong in the paint and altered several attempts at the basket for FSU.
Ebo, a transfer from Texas, also played at Penn State. Tonight was her 60th overall start in her first in a Notre Dame uniform. Citron trying to create some space. 7 on the shot clock. That is Westbeld for 3.
And we know she's a capable three-point shooter. You don't want to leave her open, been quiet, but was able to knock down the first three-point shot for Notre Dame this evening.
Yeah, the crowd knows it. 1 of 10 for the Irish. Westbeld breaking through with the three-pointer.
Oh, Bajetti said, let me try it. And she was right on the emblem for Notre Dame when she let that one launch.
Okay, Sarah Bajetti, the senior.
Oh, this is getting chippy. Bajetti didn't like that slight push by Miles. We'll watch that battle.
Citron in the paint. Latson deflected that one out of bounds. It'll stay with the Irish.
And that was good defense, especially with Citron having the size advantage against Latson down low. She was able to defend and get a block, get that basketball out of bounds.
Valenzuela back in the lineup. That's Howard coming out. Also Bajetti, who just hit that three-pointer. Second of the night for Florida State as a team. Westbeld is determined to get to the rim, use the size advantage against Latson, finds Bransford for 2.
And that's what it's all about. When you cut, your teammates will find you, and we just saw it with Westbeld and Bransford on that last possession. Great cut by the freshman. Westbeld found her.
11 points, KK Bransford. 7th time this season to double digits for the Irish. Massengill lines it up and knocks it down.
I guess we said these teams could shoot. No, we said we were going to see a different half in this second half, and we're seeing it with the shooting from both of these teams.
Okay, so we only saw 1 made 3 between the teams in the first half. We've already seen 3 made 3s between the teams in the second half. Westbeld made the first for Notre Dame. Miles may have
a cut or something.
Yeah, a little cut on the shin there. They're attending to it at the Notre Dame bench.
Yeah, the ref saw it quickly as she was trying to cross half court. And he's like, you got blood on your leg.
So. Brian Durham, the official, was pointing at her knee, and I don't think she knew at first what he was talking about.
Right. You got to applaud the training staff for Notre Dame to tape her up quick so she didn't have to come out of the game.
Ready to go. And now we're inside of 6 minutes to go in this quarter. Miles Citron off the backboard and in.
She must have like 2 sets of eyes, because I don't even know how she saw that. That was a whipping, fantastic pass to Citron by Miles.
The awareness of Olivia Miles to get her teammates involved. Shot clock is inside of 10 for Notre Dame. Entry, Timpson. Sweet jumper.
I mean, what can she not do? I mean, the baseline jump shot, for her size, that athleticism, she is an all-around player.
Timpson's got 7 points now. Massengill leads the 3-on-1. Citron tries to get back. Latson misses and it goes out of bounds. Crowd doesn't like it. Officials say Seminole basketball.
Massengill had the 2-on-1. She should have made the pass to Gordon in the corner. But when we see this play by Miles with this penetration and dish, the finish by Citron, that was a nice move. Miles to distribute, find teammates, and see how they can get good looks at the basket.
You know, Florida State has attempted over 500 three-pointers this season and made the most. Had 173 in the ACC. Latson much closer to the basket, and Westbeld got a piece of it.
But she's not afraid to go amongst the trees. She faced the basket, had Westbeld right there, and still decided to penetrate and go for it.
Both of these programs, part of the NCAA tournament a season ago. Notre Dame to the Sweet 16 before losing by 3 to NC State.
That just tells you how great this conference is. You end up playing against a team from your own conference in the tournament.
Watson on the move. Kylie Watson, the transfer from Oregon, her teammate. Addie Westbeld got a piece of that one.
But that was great rotating by Westbeld. She wasn't there initially, and Myers thought she had an easy look at the basket. Nice pass by Massengill, but she comes over right there with the swat. Great recovery by Westbeld.
Westbeld, the junior from Kettering, Ohio, anchoring this defense down low for the Irish. Myers on the catch. Might have been a bump by the defender there. That was Watson.
And it was. She was right up on Myers as soon as she caught that pass. Myers had positioning in the paint, able to draw the foul.
Coach Wyckoff's team with a victory last season against this Irish team for their first in the series, and that was in Tallahassee. Into the corner, Valenzuela. Off the mark from three-point distance. Miles wants a three, and she's got it.
And did you see how Miles lost Bajetti? Bajetti was moving so quickly. Miles passes it to her teammate and gets the handoff right back for the three.
So Miles has the second three of the game for the Irish, out of bounds, and to Notre Dame.
And Olivia Olivia Miles can make it look so easy. Makes that nice little fake run into the basket, fools Bajetti, and steps back for the handoff and the three-point shot, and that was money. That's what she is capable of doing, a very headsy player in Miles.
And that three gives Notre Dame its largest lead of the night, 38-31, 7-point difference. Miles making her 13th three of the season, 25% on the year for Miles. Outside of the arc, she throws that one inside, and the pass collaborating for two with Watson.
I tell you, if you play with a player like Olivia Miles, you better be ready to receive the basketball. She's always looking for her teammates, and she's going to make the right pass.
Citron got a piece of it. Bransford picked it up. Miles shovels it off to Citron.
Another assist. She's getting close to that average, and she's fired up. 9-0 run for Notre Dame in this third quarter, and you just can see what this team is capable of doing. On this last move right here, they get the steal, recover. This dime thrown by Miles to Citron for the finish at the basket. And these are the type of plays cemented to understand your opponent and the defensive sets Florida State was running. But once Olivia Miles got comfortable, you started to see her teammates get comfortable.
Nowhere to go for Brown. About 2.5 minutes to go in the quarter. Bajetti straight away. Rattles off. Bransford ran it down. Here's Miles. Westbell, tough catch on the entry, and she found Bransford. What a play by Westbell, falling out of bounds.
Hey, that was a great play. They had a 5-on-4 because Gordon was on the floor injured. It looked like her ankle. But Notre Dame able to capitalize and was able to get the score.
Maria Gordon to that Florida State bench.
And you see it right here. Bransford passes out to Miles, and then right there, on that fall. She just fell awkwardly on that move that Bransford made.
O'Brien drives it right to Watson. Follow up, Timpson got her own miss among 4 defenders. And just a little reach in by Miles, and she's picked up her 3rd personal foul.
Olivia Miles, they need her in this game. She can't get fouls, or not those chippy fouls like she just got. But Simpson missed a chippy. That was probably the most wide open she was all night long, but was able to get her own miss. Now at the free throw line for 2 shots.
So Timpson with that free throw is now the leading scorer for Florida State with 8. Watson has 7, Bajetti has 6, and now 9 for Timpson.
Yeah, it's been a struggle for Florida State to score in the second half. You've seen Notre Dame's defense. They've turned it up a notch, been very stingy, and they have not allowed Florida State to get anything in the paint.
Bransford is the only player in our game tonight with double digits. She has 13 points. Citron wants it and makes it.
And that's the way to get it. Citron, we said it that last game, she was 6 of 7 from behind the arc and is just continuing to trend. Knocks down a big 3 for Notre Dame.
She's got her first 3 of the night on 3 tries beyond the arc for Citron. 25 made threes, second on the team behind Mabry. Traveling violation and back to Notre Dame.
Yeah, too many steps by O'Brien trying to make that move. Good defense by Notre Dame to stop her and cause her travel. But this 3 from the pass for Miles. Citron in the corner. She's starting to heat up and get it going.
Notre Dame has made its last 8 shots in the midst of a 15-2 run after trailing by 1 point at halftime, 23-22. Westbell, weak side, Citron. Free throws coming up
And that was a great offside rebound by Citron. Great positioning as Westbell missed that three, but Citron was right there to get the rebound and then go up strong against O'Brien. And all O'Brien could do was just foul her because that was going to be a score for Citron.
Second foul on O'Brien. Citron also in the double digits with 12 now after that made three-pointer. You saw Prosper is back in, 4 in white.
Like the cha-ching.
Little video game effect. Brooke Wyckoff does not like looking at that scoreboard right now.
Yeah, I mean, this lead, what a turn. At one point, this game was 33-31. Notre Dame had the lead, but now the lead's getting up there. Notre Dame leading by 16.
Miles on the turnover. Bounces it to Prosper. A little bit too strong. Second chance in traffic. And a foul is called. Myers was the closest Florida State player.
And this is a good job by Myers because her team's looking a little deflated. She's trying to galvanize her team, see if they can get something going, because right now Notre Dame has all the momentum and they're running with it.
Consider that Florida State has scored 70 or more in every game this season, with only seconds remaining in the third.
And they only have 33 points. That's a great defensive showing by Notre Dame.
Miles, both sides of the rim. Prosper. It was Timpson who got a piece of it, and a piece of Prosper also.
But that was a great rebound by Prosper. She read that miss by Miles well and flew in there out of nowhere. No one boxes her out. She was in the corner and gets the rebound, is able to draw the foul. Those are the hustle plays that get you over, especially when you're trying to get a win against a ranked opponent at home. And you see right here, she's a freshman, but a 5-star recruit and one of the top recruits for Coach Ivey in this Notre Dame squad.
27-10, the Irish with the lead in the third quarter, and Coach Ivey, for good reason, all smiles. Halftime lead.
Right. Guess that's payback for the 7 points that Notre Dame scored in the first quarter. But Olivia Miles in this squad they've turned it on in the second half, and they're trying to close this game out.
Remember, they lead this series 11-1 and have not lost at home against Florida State. They were 4-0 in the overall series here in Notre Dame, Indiana. Notre Dame has a win against UConn to its credit as well in early December on the play inside. We get a foul. It was here at Purcell Pavilion. They sold it out, over 9,000 fans.
I can only imagine. I know it was loud in this building.
First win against UConn since 2013 for the Irish.
Oh, wow. I mean, they already get a great crowd anyway, but to see those two teams battle it out, I'm sure that was an amazing experience for these fans.
Massengill will come out. Turnage is in. 3 fouls on Massengill. Olivia Miles has that smile of confidence. It took a little while to build that confidence in this game. Citron knocking down the 3-ball corner pocket.
Yeah, you're going to smile when your teammates are knocking shots like that and giving you assists. And she's making the right decisions, the right passes, and her teammates are capitalizing. They're knocking down shots.
17 points for Citron to lead the way for the Irish. Florida State also played UConn in mid-December but lost to the Huskies 85-77 in Uncasville, Connecticut. Shot clock was down to 5, a dribbling Timpson and a whistle.
You just see it right here. Olivia Miles was looking, saw her teammate, whipped a pass in the corner to Citron, and Citron's able to knock down the 3. That's her second of the game.
It's now 26 made threes on the season for Citron. And you know, with Mabry out, She was leading this team and made threes. Now that responsibility may fall to Sonia Citron.
And she's capable. She can shoot it. Has a high shooting percentage from behind the arc, shooting at 48% this season. So why not let her shoot some threes for you?
And it was a struggle from three-point distance in the first half of the Irish, 0 for 7. They've made all their threes in the second half, and Dara Mabry liking what she sees in the second half. 27 points in that third quarter. Her sister Michaela, also an assistant with this Notre Dame program.
They keep it in the family at Notre Dame. But I'm sure she's happy to have family around her, especially during this time.
Sister Marina has the school record with 274 made threes at Notre Dame. Westbell tried to grab it and go up with it. Got tied up under the basket there, and the arrow favors Florida State.
Yeah, Watson made a move and just shot it short. Westbell tried to save her teammate, but gets tied up, and the jump ball's called. See if Florida State could get something going in their offensive sets. In this second half, Notre Dame's done a solid job defensively and just clogging that lane and playing a zone defense, making it difficult for Florida State to get in the lane.
Yeah, the Noles shot just 23% as a team in that third quarter. They work it inside, and that's how you make a comeback. You get it to the reliable scorer Timpson on the inside, and a chance at a three-point play.
And that was a nice play, a nice set play. Timpson lurking on that back end on the baseline, and you see Snoop gives a little screen for Timpson to get open, and Timpson's able to finish at the basket.
Westbell comes away with it. Florida State number 24 in the nation. Notre Dame number 7. Citron. Soft touch off the backboard.
And I love Olivia Bowers. Like, where you been at? I see Citron with the finish.
Going for style points on that one. Playing the angle off the backboard. She's done that a few times tonight, Citron.
She has.
But Jetty couldn't do it at the other end, trying to use that backboard. And that right there.
That tells the whole story.
That was it right there. That's in a nutshell.
Because even if she had secured that basketball, it was going to be a carry. But Citron, right, woof, the cross on Bajetti and then just lays it high off the glass with the finish. She's a capable scorer. She's been quiet at times, but the last couple of games, she's been getting it going offensively.
19 points now for Citron. That's well above her season average of 13.6. Ebo follows it up.
And that's an athletic move. Ebo with her size right there to recover and get that offensive rebound and put back.
10 points in the 11th time this season for the graduate student, Lauren Ebo from Washington, D.C. There's a three-pointer for the Noles.
It was needed. This lead was about to get out of hand.
That's Howard, leading three-point shooter for Florida State, making that one. Still a 16-point game. The second half dominated by the Irish on their home floor, trailed by 1 at halftime. Miles, Prosper tries again. Miles was frustrated. She was hoping for the assist.
She was. It's been a couple of those, but Coach Ivy's telling her to stay with it because she's excited to see how the freshman Prosper's been playing. You see this dime pass, she just throws wide open lane for Prosper, and she just can't finish. But you like the hustle, that she's staying with it. And that's what Coach Ivy wants to see from this freshman. She wants to see her compete, and she's doing it tonight.
The vision of Olivia Miles, 6 assists tonight, leads the league in assists per game. So much fun to watch her create, get her teammates involved. Averages over 7 assists per game, and that's, again, first in the conference, 6th in the nation.
I mean, she just dissects the defense, and she's a player that you want to play with, especially if you like scoring the basketball. She's going to find you and give you good looks at the basket.
By the way, Latson has just 9 points as the leading scorer in the ACC.
This was the matchup we wanted to see, especially Olivia Miles and Latson going at it.
Prosper, after the Miles miss, back to the line.
And she's had some chippies at the basket. It just will not fall for this freshman. But she is playing so hard and really driving or running to the basket hard for those offensive rebounds. And I'm sure Coach Ivy is very happy with the effort because it's giving her team second chance opportunities.
Bonus situation for Notre Dame. Westbeld to the bench. 5 points for Westbeld, 6 rebounds. Coach Ivy's team trying to string together 5 straight wins. And if this score holds up, that would be 11 of their last 12 games victories for the Irish, hitting a nice stride during this portion of the schedule.
Yeah, these are the games you definitely want to win. They've been on the road a little bit, but when you're at home, you want to secure these games. Long three by Bichetti, and it's just off.
And next up for the Irish will be Sunday at NC State.
That's not going to be an easy game.
Now remember, NC State knocked them out of the NCAA tournament a season ago.
Yeah, you just said it. They lost that game by 3 to NC State, but it's a different team for NC State this season. They're still trying to finally getting into a rhythm in the right time in ACC play, but that's going to be a battle, and that crowd's going to be rocking in Raleigh.
3-time defending champs at the ACC Women's Tournament in Greensboro. So let's check out the upcoming schedule presented by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina. We mentioned the NC State game, then on the road at BC.
Yeah, this game right here, we see what Notre Dame has to come. NC State on Sunday, Boston College at Boston College, then versus Duke, the #1 team in the conference right now. So it doesn't get easy. This team is battle tested, but they have to capitalize and especially secure home games and wins when they can.
Well, that's what they're doing. If they win tonight, and they've got the 20-point lead with 5:40 or so to go in this one. If they win tonight, they're now 9-1 at home and 4-0 against ACC opponents on this floor. Their only loss was early December against Maryland, and that was by 2, 74-72.
Right, and Coach Ivy talked about that game. She said that was probably the toughest matchup they've had all season because Maryland plays 5 guards. But this team has figured it out, and even with the loss of Mabry, they just continue to thrive and excel, and you have to applaud the job that Coach Ivy's done with this team this season.
In all honesty, though, our discussion in the first quarter was, is there a Mabry factor going on here? Because they only scored 7 points in that first quarter. And maybe even Mabry spoke up at halftime and said, hey,
what are y'all doing?
I'm behind you 100%. I'm at the end of the bench. I'm pulling for you guys.
I'm here.
Let's hit some threes. And that's exactly what they did in the second half. And they ran the court effectively as well. And that you can guarantee that Mabry will be providing as much support as she can from the bench from here on out.
And that's a great asset to have in a teammate. She knows she's been through the battles with this squad, and just because she's out doesn't mean she can't speak up and still lead.
Her teammates certainly will find inspiration from playing for their teammate with the injured knee and out for the rest of the season in Dara Mabry. About to hit the 5-minute threshold here in the fourth. And Fallon, you have got to be impressed with what the Irish have done here in the second half.
It's a total turnaround. You see a total 180. Woo! And I'll say it, KK Bransford, she has been probably the most consistent player for Notre Dame this evening. Even in the first half, she had it going, scoring buckets for this team, but she's had a good, solid game this evening for Notre Dame.
She's got 15 points now. The Irish have the basketball. Bransford came into the game averaging just under 8 points per game.
And she's a capable scorer. She's still trying to find her niche in this offensive system. But she's just going to play hard, and she knows how to score the basketball.
Bransford been a big factor tonight for the Irish. Gets the feed, keeps it alive. Up and in, KK Bransford. That total, and Florida State, which had the halftime lead by 1. Virginia Tech is playing Duke tonight.
That's going to be a good game. That's going to be a good game between those two teams.
Yep.
Two ranked opponents in the top 20.
And we are on our way to Greensboro, North Carolina for the ACC Women's Tournament once again this season. How about the 46th ACC Women's Tournament and the 23rd time in Greensboro? Valencia Myers.
And that was a first. We haven't seen FSU score in the paint in a while, but they were able to carve something out, and Myers was able to get the easy lay-in.
So Ebo for Notre Dame, 33 in white with a double-double. She's got the ball now. 10 points, 10 boards. Third double-double of the season. Give her 2 more points.
And that's a big-time move. The baseline hook shot over her opponent. I mean, Ebo has some moves in her closet, and she's been pulling some out tonight, getting her first start for Notre Dame.
Just one other item to throw into the mix. Tanaya Latson has 9 points in the game. Let's take a look at the Ebo move, and then I'll finish the Latson story.
Yeah, it was just a nice move, one-on-one against Myers. A nice baseline hook shot.
So Latson, who is right now on the Florida State bench, not in the game, 0-0 for Florida State, has 9 points. She has scored in double digits in every game this season. Her lowest output was 11 points against Louisville 4 games ago. And so she may be held in single digits for the first time this season.
And, like, that's amazing to say about a freshman. Like, she hasn't scored in single digits all season. And those are the growing pains you go through in the ACC, playing against the type of teams that are in this conference. But she's still such an incredible player. She'll learn from this game and get better.
Latson had 7 points in the first half and just 2 in the second half. And so right now, the Noles trying to absorb this loss on the road that had so much promise at halftime. Both teams struggled shooting, but Florida State had the lead by 1. Notre Dame took the lead with a bucket early in the third quarter, and they never looked back from that point.
They didn't. And it was probably the halftime speech, like you said, from Mabry and, of course, Coach Ivey, getting her team to pick it up. And they had a bad showing offensively in that first half. You have to applaud Florida State's defense, but they just turned it up in the second half. And that's what teams that go deep into the tournament are capable of doing.
7 points in the first quarter for the Irish, 27 in the third quarter. That exceeded their first half total of 22.
That was a big quarter. And we talked about the type of second half team that Florida State is, averaging around 46 points in the second half in ACC play, and we're not seeing that tonight from this FSU team.
They're going to be held way below their season average. It's going to be their lowest offensive output. 19 points so far in the second half for the Florida State offense. Citron's had a big night for Notre Dame. She leads everybody with 19 points, 6 of 11 from the floor, and a couple of three-pointers as well. Throw in 5 of 6 from the free throw line also. And what originally started as a struggle for the Irish turned into a night where you can take the starters out, smile on the bench.
Right. I mean, you just see the defense that they're playing good. Rebound and recovery by Timpson. But Citron running the point now, Miles on the bench. And this is just giving Coach Ivey an opportunity to give players playing time and see how her team can run the offense without Miles on the floor.
Timpson will probably be the leading scorer tonight with 13 for Florida State. Third quarter was the difference. 27-10, the Irish outscored Florida State. And so Notre Dame is going to move to 5-0 at home against Florida State and lead the overall series 12-1. Three-pointer from Florida State and O'Brien.
And she's able to get another one. But Notre Dame has made it difficult, forcing Florida State to shoot a lot of outside shots this game. And we know that Florida State likes to shoot threes. O'Brien was able to knock one down from the top of the key to cut into this lead. But Notre Dame still has a big lead, up 21, with right at a minute left in this one.
Citron to the bench with 19 points. Bransford 15. Ebo 12 and a double-double with 10 boards. Third double-double of the season. Florida State's lowest output before tonight was 71 points in an OT loss against Boston College. That was in Chestnut Hill. Valenzuela, tough shot.
Very tough shot.
It's about a 2-second difference shot in game.
Florida State just staying in the lane. Brown able to draw the foul on Gordon. And you can see this game in the first half, it was definitely a battle between these two teams. Low scoring output, but both teams defended well in the first half. But in the second half, it was all Notre Dame, and they were able to capitalize, show the type of team they are and why they are one of the top teams in the ACC and actually one of the top teams in the country, as a matter of fact.
Brown at the free throw line. So with that free throw, that's 48 points in the second half.
They reversed it on Florida State. They did what they normally do in the
Amazing.
second half.
Another example of how the night has gone for the Noles.
In and out.
And that will do it. The LIV and the Irish, 17th win of the season, now 8-1 in conference play. 70-47 is the final against Brooke Wyckoff and the Florida State Seminoles.
Another great showing by Coach Ivy and her Notre Dame squad. They were struggling in the first half, but were able to turn it around and got it going in the second half to secure the home victory.
What a second half for the Irish after trailing by just one at halftime. They get the win. Citron leads the way with 19 points. Bransford and Ebo also into double digits, and Ebo had a double-double. For Fallon Stokes and our outstanding ACC women's basketball production crew, I'm Tom Wormy. So long from Notre Dame, Indiana.